Hi, there's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with Sunday night ban list predictions for the Pioneer format for this week. They are saying they're going to be doing it weekly on Monday afternoons. So let's just take a look at the Pioneer PTQ. I think this has the most data for Wizards to look at of what might need a ban. And I'm actually going to make a prediction here. I don't think that any cards are actually going to be banned on Monday. And I'm going to give my reasoning with that with the cards that I feel might be banned in the future. The format just seems to be in a good place based upon the results of this PTQ. So if you look over on the right-hand side here, you can see that Smuggler's Copter is 46.88% of the decks. That obviously is a bad sign for a card. This is getting to standard levels of how much dominance Smuggler's Copter saw. However, if you actually start to click on the top decks, it paints a different picture. So if we click on, let's just expand the decks here and look at the game-winning deck. This is just another ramp deck. So this was considered the best deck with the ley line of abundance, and now with ley line of abundance out of the mix, it still seems to be a very, very good option to play. Went 9-0 with the PTQ, and has your typical Night Through Shining Nyx with the... This one actually is a lot different from the ones I've seen. Oh, no, this one is. This is the similar one that they were doing with the ramp before. The Burning Emissary trying to get as much value off the Night Through Shining Nyx, and then Voracious Hydra and Nissa Who Shakes the World just being two of the threats that just have to be answered, or they are just going to take over the game. Voracious Hydra can be a very, very potent, big creature out on the field within just a few turns, especially with the Night Through Shining Nyx. And seeing the Nissa Who Shakes the World can then just ramp through your deck. But I mean, this deck doesn't seem to have nearly the oomph that the other ramps had. I mean, it seems to be a one-trick pony. If you do take care of Nissa Who Shakes the World or Voracious Hydra, what's your opponent going to do? They're going to beat you down, I guess, with Walking Bliss as the other axis. But again, this doesn't seem as potent as it was before. Has Ulamog the Seasonal Hunger in the sideboard as another alternate win condition, plus some other aggressive cards. However, it does not have the Smuggler's Copter. So Once Upon a Time's the card that I think is the most jeopardy from this deck. Then we have an Is It Phoenix? Treasure Cruise? Yeah, this card's starting to seem like it's really broken, but only in the Is It Phoenix deck. This is one of the few decks that's actually running this with good success. Other decks like Sultai decks in the past or Azorius decks in the past that have tried to make Treasure Cruise work have figured out that it actually takes a lot of resources to get there. I still think that Treasure Cruise will eventually be banned, and Once Upon a Time eventually will be banned, especially when more cards enter into the format. However, with these results, I don't know if there is a justification for Wizards of the Coast to ban either of those cards this week. Phoenix, though, is still very dominant. It's the most dominant deck at the moment. I would say that Mono Green Ramp's probably right there with it. So this is a bad sign for both these archetypes. If 2 weeks in a row, these were two of the dominant top 5 decks, that could give some justification for a banning from Wizards. But out of this list, I mean, where are they going to hit? It had to be Treasure Cruise. In my opinion, Once Upon a Time's the other one from this one. Mono Black Aggro ended up being the third place deck, with Smuggler's Copter being in this particular deck, and it does use it to good advantage here. But there are plenty of answers for Smuggler's Copters. You can look at the decks that did beat the Smuggler's Copters list. There's cards like Lightning Axe that takes care of it, and Fiery Temper, and then out of the green, you just ramp through them. So you're not even worried about the Smuggler's Copter and bring in cards like Reclamation Sage that then can take away that sort of tempo that the Smuggler's Copter gets. So this particular one is just going on the black ramp. Funny, most of these ones used to have like a Sorin outlook to it, but it looks like it's just Blood-Soaked Champion, Gutter Bones, Not Even Legion, and even a Night Market Lookout just to really push through some damage. There's some neat things with Night Market Lookout being able to crew the Smuggler's Copter is why they're probably preferring it over like a Vicious Conquistador or another one drop that typically can push through some more damage, like and more Gutter Bones, for example. So there's that neat little interaction. Murderous Rider in here as well. But again, nothing here that is the jeopardizing card out of this deck, of course, would be the Smuggler's Copter based upon the dominance. We do look down on this next place deck. We do see another Smuggler's Copter and a Once Upon a Time. This deck is trying to just Ember Cleave them with the Goblin Rabble Masters and the Legion Warboss. So it's just the Llanowar Elves into the Rabble Masters and the Lovestruck Beasts to just finish off the game. And we do have an Oko deck that is also using the Smuggler's Copter and a Heart of Kran. So it's being able to crew both of these quite easily. Heartocran has things that can crew like a Lovestruck Beast that doesn't have a token left. It's one of the good things about Heartocran are these type of cards. If they do get taken care of, they can still have some sort of value with the two vehicles. So this Oko deck did pretty decent. You can see that this one, though, did not use Once Upon a Time. So this was just using the Smuggler's Copter out of the mix and no Treasure Cruise here. We go down to the next one being an Ensoul deck, so a Shrapnel Blast Ensoul Artifact. This one actually took down our particular 20-man tournament we held at Gone Rogue Games. Was very similar to this list with the Shrapnel Blast. Yep, pretty much. Same sort of mix. This is another very good deck. This one is running the Smuggler's Copter, however. Azorius Tempo with the Smuggler's Copter. So maybe I'm actually going to change my tune here. That it's looking pretty bad for the Smuggler's Copter. So we have now in the top 8 decks, we have, 6 out of 8 of them running the Smuggler's Copter, but the 2 winning ones did not. So this one's tempoing out with just your typical Reflector Mage, Spellqueller, Gideon Alexander, Smuggler's Copter. This was a standard deck. Almost all of these cards were standard legal when the Smuggler's Copter and the Reflector Mage had to be banned for this particular deck. But this one's adding just the Brazen Borrower into Fairy Time Raveler. Another Azorius Templar, Smuggler's Copter. Ooh, yep, looking very, very iffy. Another ramp deck rounds out the 7-2 list. This one running a Collected Company and Court of Calling, so no Smuggler's Copters in this one. Oh, this is a Coco deck. Yeah, so Coco has a ramp sort of effect here to really utilize that Court of Calling to find exactly what you need. Temur Sabertooth can then bounce back creatures to get more value. I'm assuming that you're ramping to also cast Shaman of the Pact multiple times. So this is Elves Collected Company. No Smuggler's Copter in this one. Then we have a blue-white control with Teferi, and Narset. Played against this deck today, actually. And, yep, this one I think this one is not running Dig Through Time, though. I think that was the difference between the one that it's either Sphinx of Revelation that they run or Dig Through Time. Another blue-white control. This one is running Dig Through Time. And played against this is the list I played against today on MT Joe. And it doesn't have Smuggler's Copter in this one, but does have the Dig Through Times. Demir Control, no Smuggler's Copter. So again, now this is starting to paint another picture. So I'm not quite sure that we have enough reasoning to ban the Smuggler's Copter. Looks like Dig Through Time is starting to see a lot more of these type of play styles, and even the non-combo decks just to dig up the right answer at the right time. Torrential Gearhulk plus Dig Through Time, of course, is a crazy combo. And another ramp-based strategy. This one is just using Hour of Promise to ramp out the Ugins. So this is Pilgrimage, Hour Promise, old school just ramp type style. Elvish Rejuvenator to get you there. No Smuggler's Copters here. Another ramp deck, very similar. No Smuggler's Copters there. And then even in this Gruul aggro deck, this one decided not to go the Smuggler's Copter in this particular deck. So yeah, it does seem like when we're looking at this, there is a lot of similarities are coming up. There's a lot of Once Upon a Times that probably have no business being in aggro decks. That, to me, would be the most realistic ban tomorrow. Smuggler's Copter Once Upon a Time I'd put in the high category. Nykthos Shrine of Nyx seemed to have a lot of cards too, and then Ramp did win the tournament, so you could make the argument for Nykthos Shrine of Nyx. And then I think Treasure Cruise is saved for the moment though, because there's only that one deck that was running. I think Dig Through Time is in more jeopardy than the Treasure Cruise. But Phoenix deck did take second place, but then there's no more Phoenix decks down here. So again, that is probably my prediction. If 2 cards do go, Smuggler's Copter Once Upon a Time in that order, I think the rest of the cards are safe at this moment. So if you have any of those cards, possibly you might want to try to unload them. You probably don't have enough time unless it's buy listing by tomorrow. Yeah, kind of feeling iffy on that Smuggler's Copter. What's the price trajectory been looking like? Huge spike gain. This card will continue to go up in value if it doesn't get banned, but I think that's sort of the hesitant for this particular card is how much dominance it did see in that tournament. We'll keep our eye on it. That's my kind of analysis for this PTQ. Let me know in the comment section below if I missed a card that has dominance that we didn't see. It seems to be a pretty wide range of decks. Yeah, there was a lot of black aggro, a lot of Gruul aggro, a lot of mono green ramp and control, but that seems to be a pretty healthy meta. If 4 of those are dominating the format, it does give you a lot of leeway to use your pet cards, your pet strategies, and probably be quite successful. If we actually take a look at like the leagues, you're still seeing a ton of 5-0 finishes in the Pioneer format. So if you click on these leagues, it's going to crash your computer when you expand the decks because there are a lot of cards. But again, this is starting to solidify into a meta to where these archetypes are starting to be more dominant than they were with the vast variety of decks in the first week of Pioneer. Anyway, this has been Kevin with the Rogue Market with analysis for the ban list on this following Monday. It would be Monday, the November 11th. Remember, that will come sometime in the afternoon. They'll announce either if there is a ban or no bans. And we're looking at you, Smugglers Copter. Think you might be the one. Anyway, this has been Kevin with Rogue Market. Thanks for watching.